Hello everybody, welcome here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I'm just going to lift the curtain a bit because we need a little bit more light. It's getting a bit dark now. Earlier too, eh? Anyways, my name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. Now I got too much light. Can't win, can ya? And watch if I pull, yeah, I knew it. I pull the curtain, the whole thing comes down. So we'll just make do with what we can. Anyways, this is a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music, and we're back with our series, the series that we've been doing for the month of September, involving called The Other Prog War, featuring a bunch of bands that are more obscure in nature for their prog music, meaning that they're not as well known. They're not like Genesis and Yes and Gentle Giant and them. These bands, for the most part, are pretty much unknown by the general public anyways. The people on YouTube, of course, who follow prog music would probably know them, like myself and some people who watch this show as well. So the bands we have here are like that because they either didn't have enough of only had a few albums, or maybe they had a lot of lineup changes, or maybe they didn't get the right record label, or maybe they just they didn't hit it big outside of their country. You know, there's all kinds of reasons why a lot of these bands didn't quite make it, but they deserve to have some attention, and I'm trying my best to give them that. So the two bands we're doing today, Northstar is one of those two bands. The album Feel the Cold from 1985. This is one of those neo-prog bands that came out in the early to mid-80s. Like bands like Marillion, IQ, Palace, Pendragon, Solstice, and I'm sure there's others that I'm not mentioning either. But this is one of those bands. Very up-tempo music, lots of synths, lots of bass elements in this music, quite a bit. The cover kind of reminds me of Gentle Giant's Three Friends, because it's got three guys sitting around a campfire in a cave. You can see it's snowing outside and there's a hieroglyphic on the wall. It's just kind of reminiscent of that album. I don't think it looks like it, but it just reminds me of it because of the three guys around the campfire. Keyboard parts are very good on this album. It's dominated by keyboards and synthesizers. I think that's the most dominant instrument here. The vocals, although are mid-range, they're not too high in the soprano or too low in the bass. Somewhere in the middle in alto range. Also, they're not overly forward, so they're not too dominant. They seem to fit in with the music fairly seamlessly, I guess would be the good word to put it. Yeah, this is a pretty strong album. Got a lot of really strong progressive sounds. The drumming is very kind of it's very strong. I was trying to think of another superlative to use rather than strong. I think it's kind of a little bit powerful, I guess is a good word to describe it. So I like this band quite a bit. I've been looking for some of their stuff now too, so I'm going to try and purchase some of the albums from some of the bands that we are doing in this tournament. That's my new goal now. Whenever I do a tournament or whenever I have a thing, is I'm going to try and concentrate on getting those albums, as many of them as I can. And that's just a goal I have. So anyways, that's Northstar. Now they're up against a band called Jane. I believe that's what they're called, Jane. The album is Between Heaven and Hell. This is a krautrock band. This album came out in 1977. They put out Roller from Goblin, or Goblin from Roller, an Italian band. They were pretty strong in that too. I thought they only had the 4 tracks on their album, between Heaven and Hell, Twilight, Voice in the Wind, and Your Circle. And this album is very good. Lots of synth covers on, lots of synthesizers on this. That's what I'm trying to say. The soundtrack is good. Vocals were a bit murky, but also mid-range like Northstar. Lots of key synthesizers, almost Floyd-like in a lot of ways, their album. There's just quite a bit of similarities between the two of them. The vocals don't sound anything like Pink Floyd, so it doesn't, and it's not as melodic, but it's still pretty close to that. Twilight, some heavy guitars on this track, really good. Oh, sorry. The riffing is slow, very melodical. Again, mid-range on the vocals, and it does pick up tempo towards the end of the track as well. Voice in the Wind, that's another melodic album with a lot of keyboard and synthesizer parts to it, and the vocals again are more subdued here. The last track, Your Circle, has a rocky it's kind of rocky sounding, like it's a rock. It sounds like a rock album, like a rock song. Really catchy beat to it, and the vocals are a little again more mid-range. His vocals are very, I guess, unmemorable. That's a bit of a negative term. They're not. I guess it's probably not the right way to put them. They're not. There's nothing about them that draws your attention, which in some ways is good. They neither are bad nor good. It's just kind of mid-range there. So of the two bands, I like Jane's heaviness quite a bit, but I really think that Northstar is just a superior band playing music that's more in my wheelhouse, I guess is the best way to put it. But part of doing this is to get out of my wheelhouse. So part of me wants to not choose bands that are right in my wheelhouse, but in this case, I just think that the Northstar is just too strong of an album and too strong of a band, so I'm going to give it to them today. And Jane, as good as I think that they can possibly be, is just a little bit under that radar right now. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Prog Monster. We will be back with another one tomorrow. Please like and subscribe. It's much appreciated. If you've got any comments about either album or anything we're doing or anything in general that fits the channel, please put it in the comment section below, and we will be back tomorrow with a new week and the last battle of the second round in this series, and we'll be down to just 8 players left. So take care, and we will see you then. Bye.